In today's Growing Oklahoma, we are talking about orchids, and there's more to say about them than you think.
That's right. Joining us to talk about all of it is Nate Shane, Director of Horticulture at the Myriad Botanical Gardens. Welcome, Nate.
Yeah.
So we were just talking before, a lot of people probably recognize this type of orchid, but there's a lot more that comes to with orchids.
Yeah, this is certainly the most common one that you'll see anywhere that sells orchids. They're probably selling this. It's the Phalaenopsis, or the moth orchid as they call it. But there's close to 30,000 species of orchids and infinite number of hybrids crossing between different species. So I wanted to just kind of talk about that diversity and show some of the different orchids that we have growing over in the conservatory.
Yes, so we'll start down on this thing because this is actually interesting. We were talking about this is a desert orchid. So
yeah.
It can grow well in drier places.
Orchids grow all over the world, mostly in the tropics, but there's 34 species that are native to Oklahoma, and they grow anywhere except areas that are permanently covered in ice. And even in the desert, there's 3 different species that grow. And you can see it grows really well, and we just have it planted over there, just growing next to cacti and succulents, and it's one of our fastest growing orchids.
It's really interesting the way it curtains like this.
Yeah.
I think a lot, you know, this seems very Myriad Gardens.
It's about 7 feet along this,
wow.
So it was a challenge to get it over here. I also want to point out, this is a jewel orchid. It's grown for its foliage mainly, and you can see it's just really different than probably anything else you've ever seen.
Yeah.
We got one that somebody took as a cutting that's flowering there, and you can see just very small white flowers.
They're also different.
Yeah.
Really, though.
This they call the pansy orchid because the flowers look like pansies.
That's nice and delicate.
So when it comes to taking care of orchids, obviously, like the desert orchid probably uses less water.
For sure.
In terms of watering it, taking care of orchids, if you have some at home, maybe you are giving it to somebody for a present, how is the best way to tell someone to take care of it?
Yeah, the care certainly gets into a whole nother difficult topic. It certainly depends on which kind of orchid you're talking about, because some like to dry out and some don't. So normally I'm talking about Phalaenopsis when I'm telling people how to care for them, or sometimes Dendrobium, which is the second most common one. But typically they like it well drained, and they like to almost get dried out between their waterings, and then they like to get really soaked really well. And like, I don't want to end without talking about this really cool orchid here.
It has a different smell, you say.
Yeah, it smells real bad and really strongly.
See, I told you that wasn't me, but it's the orchid.
I tried to get rid of Colby before the segment.
She hiding me behind the Carl Torp orchid over here. It's 7 feet tall.
This is Bulbophyllum Phalaenopsis. It's a Phalaenopsis because it has the same looking leaves as this does, but they're not really very closely related. But if you look it up on the internet, some people say it smells like rotten cabbage or decomposing mice mixed with other
It's not going to be in a perfume anytime soon.
Yeah.
Nate, you did a great job explaining the different orchids. Very interesting. Thanks for coming back to see us.
On the rotting mice note, I like that. Well, listen there. Still to come, another